You can't rush the process. You can't rush the process. You can't rush the process. You just can't rush the process. You can't rush the development. You can't rush the self-improvement. You can't rush anything in this life. You just can't rush. I know what it feels like to want to get to the destination, to get to the goal and get to the achievement, but you just gotta go on this little journey, this little quest, this little walk, this little detour. And you need to appreciate those little detours, those little walks, and those little quests, because they build character. And I'm saying this coming from circumstances where I suffered, I achieved, I failed, I did less than, I did more than, I've experienced relationships, I've experienced breakups, I've experienced love, I've experienced heartbreak, I've experienced loss, I've experienced gains, and I wouldn't want to rush any of those circumstances and situations, because when I sat there in those moments and I self-reflect, I processed, I thought, it allowed my brain to develop to what it is now. It allowed my brain to understand this body that I'm in much more, be more connected and in unity. And as a result, it's no wonder why I can move in unity and put all my energy to one task or live a certain lifestyle, because I'm not all over the place. My mind is here, my body is here, my spirit is here. My mind is in somewhere else. My mind is in somewhere else. My body is in somewhere else. My spirit is, it's all here. And I'm saying all that to say this. The development that you're going through right now is a part of what makes you who you are. Success, fails, ups, downs, all of this is a part of life. And it's either going to be a blessing to you or it's going to be a lesson to you. And for those out there that are trying to become better, hopefully you're having a lot of lessons. Hopefully you're having a lot of lessons, you're making a lot of mistakes, you're having some failures. Not too much failures to where you start to become down, but enough failures and enough mistakes to know the direction you're going in and know the right direction. And that right there is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because it's something only a few people are actually able to achieve. So many people live in circumstances and situations where they're not allowed to run their money up. They're not allowed to spend time to themselves. I mean, my room, I don't share a room with anybody. There's some people out there, adults, that share rooms, whether they're married, they're children, bunk beds, or adults. I've seen adults share rooms with kids. I've seen adults bunk up. I'm in the military, so I've seen and experienced always being around somebody and sleeping in a cabin with other people. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to really be able to have a sanctuary to yourself. It's a beautiful thing to be able to sit down with your thoughts. Really take in the mistakes. Really learn from the decisions you make. And people just don't see it that way. I mean, how could you want to be successful in everything that you do? That doesn't make any logical sense to me. How are you successful? You always make the right choices. You never made the wrong choice. You never made a mistake. That doesn't even seem natural. Doesn't seem real. In any regard, case, and circumstance, does it sound real? I don't think that it's fair for you to rush and to want to skip these experiences. And I know the desire to get to the destination, get to those goals. A lot of people, they fall off the grid when they don't get their goals within a short time frame, and they just move on to another goal or another aspiration or ambition, wherever the wind takes them, they just go. But as for me, I've gotten backlash. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've failed, and I don't have any regret. And I can't stress this enough. I won't rush. I won't rush the moment that I'm in right now for anything in the world. I'm not in a relationship. I'm not at the pinnacle of my career. I don't have a bunch of money. I'm not extremely successful, although I have had success, although I have enough money to take care of my needs, and I am grateful. I won't rush this moment. I won't rush this time frame in my life. And I think people should start to get into the habit of living in the moment that they're in right now, whatever circumstances they're in. Because even when you're poor and the lights are off, and if you're in the heat and the mosquitoes are blowing, at least you can say to yourself, I'm alive and I have the opportunity to do something about this. And I know that may seem crazy or it's not that deep, but really sit down and understand what I'm saying here. If you don't have anything to do but change, that is the best circumstance you can be in life. I'll say that 1000%. I'll die on that hill. Having no other option but to elevate, improve, and develop, being forced into improvement is the best place you can be in your life. Because when you're in these circumstances, when you're in these spaces, as I said, your mind starts to develop. It's being forced to develop. It's being pushed out of being complacent, pushed out of being lazy, pushed out of comfort into discomfort. And being in discomfort, your brain automatically wants to find any way, shape, and circumstance to get back into the comfortable mode and the happy mode. So that would be fake dopamine, fake short-term happiness, you name it, whatever distractions. But when you really focus on the nitty-gritty, the hard stuff, the uncomfortable stuff, the short-term discomfort for the long-term comfort, that's when your brain starts to, that's like your brain going to the gym at that point. It starts to churn, it starts to work, it starts to develop, and it starts to grow. And one thing what I've experienced is, unless you are in denial, your brain is going to move forward and it's not going to go back. You can't become aware and be unaware anymore. The only thing you can do is deny that you are aware. Once you walk on that side, you can't go back. It's one direction. You can feign like you go in the other direction. You can fool anybody else in the world, but you can't fool yourself. You can't fool your mind. Your brain is just not going to allow you. So it's so scary to be in a state of discomfort, and your first instinct is to get out of that space. But I beg you to don't rush it. Don't look for the easy way out. Find the real way, not the hard way. Not the hard way. You don't have to go the hard way, but find the fix to the issue, not a temporary solution, a fix to the problem, to the issue, to the shortcomings in your life. If you have a lot of health problems, fix those issues, those health problems like hypertension, high cholesterol. Fix your diet. If you're worried about your back, your joints, start working out, start being physically active, start doing mobility training. It's so much you can do. And even when you try to rush those things and you try to patch those things, you get medications to fix the symptoms, you don't really achieve the true desire that you're looking for. You get a taste of what it feels like, but you don't get to experience the new you that comes thereafter. And it's such a beautiful thing. I promise you it's a beautiful thing. Even when I did my chemotherapy, I didn't rush it. I didn't want it to go any faster. I didn't want it to go any slower. Heck, I didn't really process what was happening in that moment. But I tried to be present in my own body. And I constantly told myself, I'm not liking this. This is not good. But in the long run, hopefully, it'll get me to a better place. And it did. It did. I survived. But the mental fortitude that I developed within that time, because I didn't rush, or I didn't want to rush, or I denied myself that hardship, that discomfort. I didn't deny any of those feelings and experiences. I grew and developed so much. So much. Enough so where I believe confidently that not very many people will relate to what I'm saying, but there are a small percentage of people on the planet that will, and that's beautiful nonetheless. But I don't think everybody needs to experience what I need, what I've experienced for them to achieve a similar outcome, to achieve that development. You just need to be present in the moment. During those breakups that I run into another girl, really sit there. You could cry, you can feel, you can experience that heartbreak, that loss. If you're sick, experience that feeling. If you're lonely, really resonate with that feeling. Really connect with yourself. Understand why you feel it is the way that you do. And when times do change, which it usually would change if you're doing things to change, you can look back on those times and smile because where you're at now versus where you were before is completely different people in mental state. And you would think to yourself, wow, if I knew what I'd be today, what I was 2 or 3 years ago. And you see this all the time with people that are investors or people that change careers or people that leave relationships, take on major change. They embrace that change. They embrace that discomfort, that uncomfortable feeling. They always say, if I hadn't taken the risk, if I hadn't taken the chance, I don't know where I would be today. And the reality is you won't know where you've been or where you would be. The choices that you make today will determine where you are tomorrow. And you can't really confidently know tomorrow where you'll be. So just make the choice, make the decision. Chase after those dreams instead of living a nightmare. Because I promise you, a lot of people are living nightmares and it's not fun. And it's okay to enjoy the feeling of living a nightmare, but really living a nightmare that you can't wake up from, it's not something that I would want for anybody.